I am joined today by Mr. Joel Hoekstra. Joel is one of the most sought after guitarists in the music industry today, constantly lending his skills to session work, as well as being a member of Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Whitesnake and others, depending on the day of the week. Joel is currently part of supergroup Iconic, which is about to release an album called Second Skin on June 17th on Frontiers Records. Joel, always great to have you in the house, man.
Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Good to see you again, dude.
Yeah, you too, man. You too. Iconic. You and Michael Sweet together trading licks, man. This is a guitar player dream right here. And that backing band, everybody around you is incredible on this record. It's a dream record. It really is. How'd it come together? And how about writing? You guys are all busy. Michael's as busy as you are. Everybody's got their own thing going. How complicated was it to get songs written and get this on the road?
Frontiers definitely got us together. They were looking for a group of classic rock musicians to surround Nathan James, the singer on the record. And I think Michael and I came to mind as maybe the guitar team because Michael and I have been talking about doing something together for a long time. So that was basically the beginning of it. And then, much to my surprise, after I kind of agreed and signed on to do it, the rhythm section became very Whitesnakey. So my bandmate Tommy Aldridge was playing drums on it, and Marco Mendoza, who spent some time with Whitesnake in the past, is on bass. So anyway, that's how it came together. And then as far as writing goes, we just kind of came up. It was really Alessandro and Michael who came up. They co-produced it, so their plan was to have me write guitar riffs, much the way George Lynch did for Michael on Sweet and Lynch, or whatever the albums are called, Sweet Lynch, Lynch Sweet. So kind of unarranged riffs that I sent Michael, and then Michael arranged them into song form and added or subtracted where needed, and sent those on to Alessandro and Nathan, who wrote the lyrics and the vocal melodies. So it was collaborative.
Yeah, that's cool. It's got a great collaborative sound, and it's not always easy these days because, like I say, you guys are each doing your own thing, and it's all sent in. It's hard to be get in the same room. It has a real cohesive sound though. And yeah, I mean, you're talking about the best of the best here. Tommy Aldridge on drums, and with Marco is just a crazy bass for this stuff. Second Skin, the name of the record. How did that come about?
That's totally the label, and Alessandro, because I think Alessandro, there's a song on the record called Second Skin, and so I think Ali wrote the words to that one, and so it ended up becoming that. I think the label picked the name of the album, though.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm thinking to myself, this is kind of a second skin for all of you guys because you've got primary projects that Whitesnake being your go-to main project. And these are all second skins, if you will. Nathan James, you've sang with he sang in TSO with you. He's flying this plane, man, and it's he's got Michael Sweet, who's one of the great vocalists of hard rock and this melodic rock, right next to him, a young guy. He's got all these weapons around him. How is that different than you're coming from one of the most iconic, greatest frontmen of all time, well-seasoned veteran in David Coverdale, to Nathan James, newer guy making his mark. This is his, really, he's inglorious, of course, but he's got a real machine here, and he's just killing it on vocals. Do you play any different, for that? With knowing that you got Nathan James singing these songs, did you keep that in mind when you were playing?
Not necessarily. I mean, because I wasn't really writing the vocal melodies, so I just wrote guitar riffs along the lines of what everybody was looking for, and then when it came time to do the leads on everything, I would say at that point in time, yeah, you're trying to like pick up on the melodies of the songs a bit and kind of play melodically and but add some fire where needed as well in the solos. But so I think, maybe in that regard, maybe some of it is playing off of what Nathan sang or whatever, right?
Right.
Came up with. But in regards to the riff writing, no, because I mean that was kind of like the beginning of it. So
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean we were just looking to do a throwback record, man. Just kind of 80s style in a 2022, presented in a 2022 way.
It
A lot of hard rock, man.
Yeah, and it's great, man. I mean, and I get a little bit you get a little Nathan and a little Michael trading leads to vocals, which is really cool. I wasn't sure, that was a big question for me going into the record. Will it be entirely Nathan's gig on vocals? And it primarily is, but you get a couple of songs there where they trade in that almost Journey, Greg Rowley, Steve Perry thing, and it's pretty cool to hear, man. It's really cool. A little bit of Hammond B3 on here too. Hearing this stuff, and it was put together. You sent your riffs in and did some leads over this stuff. Did any of it surprise you? When you heard that Hammond B3, and did you kind of go, "Ooh, wow"? That's
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, it seems like when you do these things that there's always enough time between each of the steps that you kind of forget about it. It always feels like a surprise, like I write the riffs and then they go off into the world, and then I clear it out of my mind for a month or two, and then you get it back, and then you got to actually record the album, and it's like, how did that riff go again? You got to
Did I do that?
and then once you record your parts, you don't hear the mixes for another month or two or whatever. And so by the time you hear the mixes, yeah, it always seems like a surprise every time. Like I said, it comes back to you every time. It's like, oh wow, okay, I see how it's coming out. So yeah, that's one of the fun things about making an album. It's always that way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Is this a one-off project? I guess that's going to be the question a lot of people have. Will we get is Iconic a band that I don't want to say tour, but is it together? Is there going to be another Iconic record, or is this just a fun thing that you guys put together?
No, I mean, I think we're committed to it at the very least as a recording project, as far as getting out and doing gigs, we'll have to see. I mean, I have a crazy year if everything holds true in terms of Whitesnake. We're starting on the farewell tour, leaving shortly actually for Ireland here, to go play with Foreigner in Europe, and then we'll tour Europe with Europe. And I think a show in there maybe with Kiss and with Steel Panther, and then there's some
Awesome.
other dates yet to be announced, but we're not going to do a farewell tour without touring the U.S. So everybody that's waiting and waiting, you'll be happy in the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's obviously big, and then I have TSO November and December if everything holds true. So it's very difficult to say, hey, Iconic, we're going to go off for 3 months this year. That's obviously not the case. But I mean, I'm always committed to trying to do what I can to move things forward. So as far as like whether or not I'd be into doing live dates with it, I would be. But it's just about making it work.
Right. And you mentioned Whitesnake, your gigs. And I think about this, and I think, preparing, how do you prepare, for something like that, where, especially like Whitesnake, do you learn before that audition, do you learn the catalog? Do you know, like, the oldest, as a fan, I want everything Whitesnake. I want to learn the early stuff to the most recent stuff, the entire catalog. When you're preparing for a gig, so like Iconic, but even more so like a Whitesnake thing or any other kind of session that you might do, do you learn do you go back? Did you listen to the Inglorious album to get more of Nathan's feel, that kind of thing. Did you, before you went into the Whitesnake thing, did you go to the Love Hunter album or the, Trouble album and get a feel for that?
Well, I mean, with Iconic, we didn't really want it to sound like Inglorious per se, so
Right.
no on that. But I mean, I've listened to the Inglorious stuff, so we were looking to do our own thing with it, and just get what we're going to get out of everybody following their instincts. And with Whitesnake, um, yeah, I mean, I think that there with Flesh and Blood, there was with Rev and I, there was a little bit of a mindset of trying to capture a little bit of all the eras to a degree, right?
Right.
Like you want to have some of the early sounding stuff where it's blues based, and some of the stuff that sounded a little more like commercial or slip of the tongue,
Right. Right. Yeah.
87 album era. So I mean, that's definitely something where you go back and listen to some things, but in general, you just kind of like,
Yeah.
right on, like, all right, it's time to write an album. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Now you mentioned Reb, and he's a different player than Michael. It sounds to me like he's you guys are all have your own specific style, and I mean really distinct styles. Michael seems to be a little closer to your style for my ears. Did you do anything? Do you know if there was anything done, or did you play any different, like the solos, to get a real feel for each sound on the guitars?
No, I mean Michael did his rhythm stuff technically on the album first, which was funny because like I sent him the riffs, and then when it came time to get the files to do the album, Michael had his guitar parts already recorded, so it was sort of like his interpretation of my riffs, and then I had to kind of adapt to that. So. He's a great rhythm player. He's really tight. Reb is as well. So, I mean, they're similar in that regard. And then when it came to the lead stuff on the album, I mean, I did most of them. I would say that, there's a couple where we do the trade thing. Right. Kind of, Iron Maiden style or whatever, where, each guy takes a lead. But there's lots of harmony lead stuff on the album. Which we sort of figured the fans would enjoy,
Totally.
Hear lots of the harmony solos. So, even on the first single, you can hear there's two harmony solos on there, really. So, we did lots of that on the record.
Yeah, it's a great guitar record. It's crazy. The Whitesnake, for your the Whitesnake dynamic has changed quite a bit now. You got Dino in there and Tanya on bass. Is it different for you? Has your style changed at all for that? Are you playing any different? Is there any change for you?
No, not necessarily. I mean, it's really the same as far as I'm concerned. It's just adding a second keyboard player who's singing obviously amazing background vocals. I mean, the background vocals sound insane right now in rehearsals. And cool. Tanya is a great bass player, just like Michael Devin was a great bass player. So everybody brings something a little bit different in terms of what their vibe or flair is, but she's definitely great. She's very pocket and very tight player. So it sounds great. The band sounds really good in rehearsals right now.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm looking forward to seeing it for sure. I've heard you talk about like your perseverance in the industry and kind of not having that plan B. You got to stay focused and go forward. Did you ever consider your plan B? Did you ever have a day where you said, this didn't work for me, that didn't work for me, maybe this plan B is something I should do?
No, not really, man. I mean, I think, I had like a minute in my young 20s where I thought, is this it? Like, am I just going to teach guitar lessons in a room the rest of my life? And I thought about, going back to school and stuff, and even started to a little bit, but it just kind of quickly faded.
Yeah, yeah. And look at it
I
now.
just thought, I'm all right. I guess I don't really mind sitting in the room teaching guitar lessons and doing, playing in bars on weekends and stuff. And so obviously things picked up eventually. It took a long time with me, but it's all good, man.
Yeah. What's the most challenging gig you've ever had? I listen to your stuff and it's all technically proficient and it's really complex. A lot of it is very complex playing. And you've played with so many different people that are, different styles and, being able to fit into that whole dynamic. Is there one gig in particular that was just kind of difficult for you to fit into?
I mean, all gigs have their challenges, as far as figuring out how to do them and how to fit in. And, it's always very much about making everybody else happy, right? So that can be sometimes easier or more complicated. I don't know. I know my first year in TSO was confusing because there were a lot of voices. You get
Right.
there's a lot of people there in that band,
There sure is.
so I was like, is that person happy? Is that person happy? So that was a little more maybe confusing my first year to try and figure out how to make everybody happy. But
Yeah,
um,
cool.
in terms of fitting in now, I've been there a long time, and so I kind of know the lay of the land and the dynamic and everything.
Right, right. Any genre, I mean, you've played everything from, the Turtles to Broadway to, this the hard, heavy metal stuff. Is there a genre or a particular artist even that you'd like to work with eventually?
Not really. I mean, just kind of
You've done it all.
be productive on a daily basis. That's always my thing. So I always seem to be like whatever the next task is at hand, and trying to do the best I can at that, and just kind of keep it moving and keep moving forward and stay productive. And then in the end, hopefully, you got a body of work or
Yeah.
a lifetime that'll be a good story or whatever, right?
Yeah, you got it already, man. You got a huge legacy. Yeah, speaking of your story, you ever think about that? Do you journal at all on the road, or about what you've done? Because I mean, you do have a legacy. You have many things that you've touched and turned to gold. Is that something that you'd like to do down the road somewhere? Do you journal at all?
I mean, I've journaled on the road, but it was more like about like checking in about like staying productive every day. It wasn't necessarily like tracking like I did this today and I did this today. Yeah. I mean, I guess it was, but it was more about like all the things that I wanted to get better at and do better with. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, having like some kind of store like hard copy story. I mean, but at this point in time, you're asking me to remember a lot. I'd have to go back and start writing things down, and then also I don't know. Those things always become kind of like um, tell everybody wants something juicy, right? Like what
Yeah.
are the inside things? It's like, well, they're inside for a reason, right? So
Right, right.
yeah, I mean, then you just piss everybody off. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily the right fit for me.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say. Um, what's something that you've always wanted to do? You've done so much, and I know you're doing what you love. It's obvious. Is there something in your life that you've wanted to do, you just can't find the time, or is there that bucket list item, I guess?
No, not really. I mean, I feel like I'm doing what I want to be doing. I just try to, like I said, it kind of comes down to every day. Like just thinking about like, all right, what am I going to get done today? Can I get this done, stay productive, and that ends up adding up to a lot of things. But I always seem to have a pretty long list of things that I need to get done. It's like my to-do list always seems pretty lengthy, man. So I guess that's better though than like sitting around and going like, all right, I have nothing to do, just waste my time.
Uh,
So, um,
Yep, I mean, that's why we get so much from you, we get so much music from you. It's awesome, man. It's really cool. You're always productive. But you're always productive, but you have a family as well. And you balance that in with your life, and you're on the road for a lot of days out of the year. Um, i- is there any advice you can give to a younger guy that just starting out, a guy like Dino, young guy, he wants to, have a family and stuff. That's not always an option for a lot of people. You get it to work. Is there a trick?
uh, Jeez. I don't know. I mean, just try your best at everything. I mean, they can wrap their heads around a lot. Kids are very adaptable. Their reality is whatever their reality is, and they just kind of go, okay,
Yeah.
that's how it works. So it's kind of this year is going to feel a little hard because I've been home a lot more the last couple of years. So
Yeah.
this year is going to be an adjustment, I think, where everybody goes like, oh yeah, I remember. Anyway, I mean that's if everything holds true. I mean, if anything, over the last couple of years, we should learn that you never know what to expect. So,
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
that's if everything holds true, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. All right, man. Well, you're getting ready to go to Ireland. How long you got on the road with Whitesnake? It's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this opening run of doing Ireland and the UK and Europe is really, get home, I think July 21 or something like that, July 20.
Yeah. Wow.
Have a little break, do some more, very tiny break, do TSO. Is kind of the way the year looks. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be a challenge for sure.
Yeah. And you always love a challenge. I know you do, man. June 17th, Second Skin on Frontiers Records. Iconic Second Skin. Get that record, hear Joel play his ass off as usual. This is a guitar rock and roll record, man. And we appreciate you. We always look forward to what you have. And man, you are always welcome here. Doors always open.
Cool. Thanks so much, bro.
All right,
Good to
man.
see you.
Be well, Trace. Safe travels, man.
All right. Cheers, buddy.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye.